Welcome, everyone, to episode 71 of the 5-Year Real Estate Career Podcast. Today's topic is a topic that's very, very close to me because it's really about helping real estate agents get over the hump and back into the game. And the title of our topic today is The Real Estate Reset: How to Win for the balance of 2025. And even if you're struggling, there is a way to win. So I want you to think about a few thoughts today before we begin our conversation to help you get back on the boat, start rowing it correctly. I want you to think about real estate and how we get paid. We don't get paid for showing up. We get paid for showing results, getting results. And if you're treating this like a job, you got a dead end job. And so for me, the way I've been an entrepreneur all of my life, this is a business, and most real estate agents don't really think of it as a business that they own, but it truly is. Second thought I want you to think about is in every board across this country, there are the top 100 real estate agents. And those agents, they're not magical unicorns. These are human beings just like all of us on this call. And what happens to those individuals is they just follow proven habits every single day. And today we're going to break down exactly what they do differently so that you can steal their playbook. One of my favorite coaches is a guy named Tom Ferry. He calls it rip off and duplicate. And that's exactly what you can do. Don't be embarrassed about doing that. A lot of people, a lot of great coaches talk about modeling, how to model somebody who's successful in business. And that's what today's call is really about, modeling successful people. But I affectionately like the idea of ripping off and duplicating. So if your business is stuck, third thought is you don't need a miracle. Miracles rarely happen in life, but when they do happen, it's great. What you need is a turnaround plan. You need a plan that works in today's market. So what we're going to do is we're going to map out the exact steps so that you go from struggling agent to unstoppable for the balance of 2025. But before we do, I want you to imagine for a minute, just think deeply about a business that you can create that starts with the most important thing. And what is the most important thing? It's quality, consistent, exclusive leads. Without leads, I don't care what business you're in. I do not care what business you're in. You will fail miserably without quality, consistent leads. And especially in a business that you own, because you are the person responsible for creating those quality, consistent leads. So our business, we call it the 5-year career. It's a business that will pay you abundantly for the rest of your life. But I will tell you this, you have to be in the right company to make that business model work. There are about 8 to 10 companies today that are strategically designed to help you build a 5-year career. Because what do you need? You need 4 things. Number one, you need direct sales. Without direct sales, you're going to starve. You're going to be thin. You're not going to make any money, and you're going to leave the industry. So direct sales is critically important. Secondly, everyone that I know that is a millionaire from the real estate business has built a team. And so learning how to build that team and creating what I call indirect income is critically important. The third thing, and it's only in a few of these, probably 10 companies, you have to be able to develop, the company has to be willing to share a piece of their profitability. Some companies call it profit sharing. Some companies call it revenue sharing, but the company has to give up a piece of that so that you can develop that 5-year career. And finally, a few select companies will give you an opportunity to earn stock. stock in a publicly traded company is the best way. It helps create wealth, and it's part of the 5-year career. So if you want to learn a little bit more about that, you can always book a 30-minute coaching call. It's a free coaching call, and it's on either our website. You can see it at the top of the screen, the 5yearcareer.com, or you can go to our YouTube channel, where you're going to find stimulating episodes that will help you grow your business. And that is the symbol at 5-year career. And let me ask you a question. Isn't that what we all want? To be able to build a business that gives us freedom and independence? So with me today on the call are two people far smarter than me. And that first and foremost is Patrick Butler, Mr. Go Vertical. Patrick is an expert at finding niches, and a niche is a key to success in real estate. And his niches are foreclosures, bankruptcy, short sales, affinity marketing, and the newest and hottest and the most easy to develop niche is new construction. And we're also going to be talking later on. Patrick is working on some material for the senior market because, as you can tell, all of us are seniors on this podcast today, and that gives us an opportunity to develop that market as well. And also with us today is my good friend for over 30 years, and that's Eric Wellner, the automatic landlord. He's written a book. He's a coach, but his real area of expertise is helping you do one of the things that make up a real good 5-year career, and that's buying real estate. He'll teach you how to invest in one property a year. So say hello, guys. Patrick and Eric, we appreciate you being with us on this morning's call. So Eric,
Thanks,
we're
thanks for
gonna
having us,
get
Skip.
started. Hey, we're gonna get started here with a meaningful topic, and I think it's a topic that's really misunderstood by many real estate agents. And what is the real meaning of a sales career?
Skip, first of all, the back to your comment about R&D, rip off and deploy. I was told that the secret to originality is concealing your sources. So keep that in mind. Then you
Saying
don't
it
have
more than 5 times, it's original.
That's right. So here's the thing, and you kind of handed me the football, and it reminds me of a very famous football story when at the beginning of every season, Vince Lombardi would pull out a football and he would say, "Gentlemen, this is a football." And the whole idea was to get back to the basics, and what is the real meaning to a sales career? And this, it either will scare the living daylights out of people. The word sales automatically is like a lightning bolt to some people, but otherwise it should actually excite you. Okay, the highest paid people in America are salespeople. We all actually are salespeople all the time, whether we're selling behavior to our kids, a raise from our boss, and it's important. So we're all selling. It's the ones that do it consciously that do the best. So the bottom line is that this business, this real estate business, this marvelous real estate business is a performance business, right? Very seldom, and unless you're on staff, do you get a paycheck. I've even seen real estate companies try to give a paycheck. All have failed. Okay, this is a performance business. You get to eat what you hunt. But here's the thing that is the big paradigm shift that most people don't get. People get into real estate, think that the product is the bricks and mortar, the stones that are on the property. But that's in fact not true. The product is you, right? People can go to any company. In fact, many people don't care which company they go to. They care who is their agent. And yet most agents don't understand that your brand, your trustworthiness, your follow-up, your diligence, your experience, your expertise is what they're really buying when they hire you. So with that in mind, you can actually look at the sales career or real estate. For me, it is absolutely a lifestyle. Everything I do has to do with real estate in some way, form, or fashion. I love talking about real estate. I love selling real estate. I love explaining. I love teaching real estate. I love being on real estate, and I have this saying, and I says, you're either on real estate because you're paying somebody for the privilege of using it, whether that's the rent to your landlord or the work that you do at work, which pays the business, which pays the mortgage or the rent, or you're in real estate because you own it. And back to another thing that you said, Skip, you said that most millionaires in real estate, and there are plenty, they got there because they built a team. And that's true because they're building that passive income piece of the puzzle. But they also own a portfolio. Successful real estate agents own real estate, starting with their own home, but often will build a portfolio to be the investment vehicle that supports a part of their income in the future. So, how do I wrap this up? Number one, we're building a business called your brand. Build a business that generates consistent income, and that's by the habits that we talked about earlier. Predictable income through systems. There's an acronym for systems too. I love acronyms. Save yourself time, energy, and money. That's what a system is. Doing the same thing. If you're going to do the same thing more than once, create and develop a process for your system so that you can do it over and over. It's not random. It's not luck. It is absolutely in your power. So back to you, Skip.
Well, actually, we're going to move to a topic which I think is really important. I've learned in my long time in this business that if you can find somebody that's doing something and doing it well, we talked about rip off and duplicate model. But Patrick, what did the top 100 people in the country do? I think that modeling them is probably a pretty good idea. What do you think?
I don't 100% agree with that, but
Okay.
we're going to go through these and I'm going to give you my 2 cents on this stuff because if you're new to the business and you're listening to this video podcast right now, or you need to pivot because your business has gone stale, what I'm about to tell you will probably make you quit and turn around and go home and take your ball with you. So let's go through the top. Now, these are the top attributes that top producers do. I will also tell you, I've met and known a lot of top producers in my day, and I don't want to be one of them. I don't like them. They tend to be a little arrogant. They tend to be a little full of themselves. But here's the first one. Number one, time blocking. Prospect 2 to 3 hours every morning, non-negotiable. How many of us really find ourselves wanting to do that? 2 to 3 hours a morning. That's 40 to 60 hours of your life every single month, 5 days per week, folks, to generate, number two, daily lead generation. Now, this is important. Based on these numbers of the top 100 agents, they get 20 to 30 new contacts per week. Again, that's 40 to 60 hours a month of their life to get 20 to 30 new contacts, not leads, not sales, 20 to 30 new contacts per week. That's 80 to 120 per month. How many leads do you guys think are going to come from 100, let's call it 100 contacts per month? Skip, Eric, what percentage of those contacts do you think will turn into leads?
Usually it's a low percentage, 2 to 5%.
Let's call it 10%. That would be 10 leads a month. And how many of those will turn into a closing? Now, again, I agree. And Skip, you're 100%. The top producers, they're workhorses. They follow these things to a T. Now, part of this time blocking and daily lead generation, what if you don't want to do that? What if that's not your drill, man? Well, we're going to come back to how we do it and how it's so much simpler to hit the same results. Eric, you said it. You eat what you kill in this business. It's not all the stuff that leads up to it, but what is it that's going to put that money in your pocket? So time blocking, it is important to block time, though. I will agree with that 100%. For me, and I know for a lot of other people, early in the morning is when I'm at my best. They call it eat the frog first. Do the things that you need to get done. I typically negotiate my contracts. I do my follow-ups to get leads going, to get deals. And I'm listing, 6 properties a month with partners such as Skip and Eric and Andrew and everybody else on this call and other people around the country. So it is important to do that. The third one is follow-up systems. We're covering this a lot, but If you don't have a follow-up system, all of that lead generation in the world will do you absolutely no good because it takes a good 5, 7, even 10 follow-up contacts with a lead to convert them into a customer. So whether they're buyers, investors, home sellers, it's vital to have a follow-up system. And technology does that for us today through a CRM. And we're going to come back to that in a minute. Niche focus. I couldn't agree more with this one. It is vital to focus on a niche. If you are trying to be everything to everybody, you will be nothing to anybody. And that is a fact of life. We've really got to stay focused on a niche. And at the 5-year career, we talk about a handful of them: first-time home buyers, investors, new construction. And as we talked about moving forward into the senior communities, these are all things that are very focused. They have a specific message behind them, and you can generate lots of business from this. So niche focus is very important. Content marketing. Skip's talked about it since we started the 5-year career. Get on social media, do your short videos, do your, what we're doing right now, video podcasts, do blogs, do anything you can do to separate yourself and provide content for your niche from your competition. Because this business isn't difficult. It just requires you to get your customers away from all the other people doing the business. Accountability partner. By far, if you are struggling or you're new to the business, super important. Do not try and do this on your own. Do not be your own Vince Lombardi. You need the coach. Eric talked about that. Vince Lombardi, for you youngsters, was a one of the first Super Bowl winning coaches way back in the day. Renowned coach. He was phenomenal. He was a leader. It's tough to coach yourself. Once you get rolling, easy peasy. But even the best of the best athletes, superstars, movie stars, all have coaches to help them hone their craft. Client appreciation events. This is great, but I'm going to skip this one altogether because you need to have clients, you need to have deals, you need to have money to make those things happen. But yes, being sociable, I would even flip that around and say, turn everything you do into a client appreciation event. Everybody that you talk to, if you have lunch with somebody, make sure that they understand that you appreciate them as people, as friends, and you'll find how far that goes with you in terms of generating referrals. 3 more, and then I'm going to wrap this section. Master your market data. So what does that mean? Well, whatever the market is, it doesn't necessarily mean know the average sale price in your neighborhood and know how many homes are for sale and what the absorption rate is, although that's part of it. But whatever your niche is, if your niche is first-time home buyers, know that data. Know what is happening in that niche right now. Are people flocking in to buy homes as first-time home buyers, or are there obstacles such as perceived high interest rates or not enough inventory or prices are too high? That's the data you need to understand so that you can empathize with the customers that you're trying to develop and solve those problems for them. That's the key. Eric said it. It's not a bunch of bricks and mortar. It's how do I help you get into that piece of brick and mortar or help you sell that brick and mortar to achieve the best price obtainable and move on with your life to the next things. Those are vital. Weekly skill practice. Okay, this is super important, kids. If you don't have the skills, the communication skills to properly deal with the consumer, to move them through the process from lead to customer to buyer or seller to closing, you need to learn that stuff. And you may not learn it from your brokerage. You may not learn it from your board of realtors. Oftentimes, a coach will be the best place to go with that. And then lastly, mindset. You need to have the right head on. And I agree with that 1,000-fold. Now, those 10 things, top producers do, 100 around the country, 100 in every board. But there's another way, folks. If you want to generate abundant leads and exclusive leads and low-cost leads so that you can get to do all of these things, the top producers didn't start doing all those things. That's what they do today. Our Done For You program is by far the simplest thing in the world. You simply contact us at 5yearcareer.com and we'll guide you through the process that we can help you do it and do it for you to generate 30, 40, 50 leads a month, and then the rest of it follows. So I would hazard to say, Skip, those 10 things are 10 things one can do. There's a much simpler way to do it. And that's what we're here for. And back to you.
Well, thanks. And I appreciate your candor. Over the years, I've learned who I am. And there are certain things that I'm very good at and certain things that I could be good at, but I don't, I refuse to do them. And so I think your honesty is a really significant statement about there are different ways to build a boat, build a ship. and I've known you for close to 25 years, and you are the most disciplined guy that I know, especially of the three of us on this call. And you can be like me, or you can be like Eric, and you can build that boat, but you have to follow the principles that make you successful in life. So I just want to reinforce a couple of things that you said, and I think it's really, really important. 8 to 10 contacts. For every 8 to 10 contacts that you, when you get a contact, a person that's, we call a lead in the business, the average amount of time that it takes to build a relationship with that lead is 8 to 10 connections, calls, emails. The average real estate agent in the US stops at 2. So think about that. Every lead you develop, you're wasting it if you think you're going to convert that lead in 1 to 2 touches. You have to touch them 8 to 10 times, and in some cases, a lead may be a year from today. And if you're only talking to them 1 or 2 times, you're never going to convert that lead. Second thing I think you said really well was education is the key. If you're educating people, then that is a magic formula for building a successful business. And one of the best books that I read at a very young age, I've got it up on my bookshelf. It's called How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's a great book to read because what it does is it helps you learn the ability to develop relationships with people. So now I get to talk about what to do if you're struggling. And this is unfortunately the truth. 70% of the real estate people in the US today are struggling. And they're struggling because of the number one reason that we keep talking about on our podcast, and that is leads. It's all about lead generation. If you got it, you're going to be successful. If you don't have leads and they're not quality leads, you're not going to succeed. So what to do if you're struggling? First, stop the bleeding. I will bet you, guys, that on the of the realtors that we know, and there are a lot of realtors, that many of them are paying for monthly services for the past 6 months, the past year and a half, that have not produced one lead at all. Who would agree with that?
100%.
100. So cut unnecessary expenses. Get rid of what's not working so you have that money available to spend it more intelligently. That's number one. Number two, focus on the highest ROI activities. And Patrick and Eric, I know what that is. Those are webinars that are educational, that produce leads at a very low cost for real estate agents. That is a good way to invest those dollars that you're saving on tools that were supposed to make you rich that haven't created a lead in a year. Number two, double down on the most important thing, which is conversations. And I'm going to talk about this in detail very quickly. There are different types of conversations. Face to face, that's a direct conversation. A social media post, an indirect conversation, or an interaction, which is a webinar, like the webinars that we do on new construction, first time home buyer. That is a form of a contact. So the key is double up on the amount of contacts. When I got into business, which was about 38 years ago, here's what they told me. You got to reach 5 people a day. 5 people a day, 20 days, if you work just the regular Monday through Friday, is 100 contacts. 1 out of 20 of those people, if you stay in touch with them, will do a real estate transaction with you in the next 12 months. It works today. It worked 38 years ago. So you've got to increase the number of contacts. Critically important. Number 3, partner up. If you're not very good at what you're doing, find somebody who's good and ask them to help them. Follow them, work with them. Let us coach you. You can schedule a 30-minute coaching call with us. It is absolutely free, and we'll talk to you about how to build your business, how to stop struggling, and how to make more money. Specialize in niche marketing. I'm not going to go take a great deal of time on that because you covered it well, Patrick. Specializing in a niche has been the lifeblood for me. I have built a couple of billion-dollar businesses, and I did it totally on niche marketing. And our favorite niche today is a niche that is the most profitable niche for real estate agents, and that is new construction. You guys, we shared this the other day on a call. D.R. Horton today is paying an 8% commission. If you're a real estate agent and you take somebody to one of their models, they are paying an 8% commission. Lennar, another company, is paying a 3% commission plus a $5,000 bonus this week. So that is why we believe niche marketing. And another reason why niche marketing works is the builders in this case have incentives, 3.99%, paying all the closing costs. So find your niche, whether it be new construction, whether it be investor, and focus on the niche. Spend 100% of your time on that niche, and you will increase your production. Next thing is market relentlessly. You know, I watch TV too much. It's always on in the background, but I can tell you the companies that I have bought products from advertise not once a day, 25 times a day. You have to market continuously. You have to focus on social media, webinars, open houses. And today, whether you like it or not, you need to be on camera. I don't have the prettiest face anymore. I realize that. I'm in the latter stages of my career, but video works no matter what you look like, no matter what you sound like, as long as you're providing education for the consumer. And finally, get a coach or get a mentor. And if you want to know about free coaching, please reach out to us. Go to our website, 5-Year Career, book a 30-minute coaching call. So Eric, back to you for part number 4, which is the 2025 turnaround. How is somebody going to take what we spoke about today and turn their business around overnight?
Well, that's a good point, Skip, because all of these concepts and theories and everything are interesting, but what really matters is what you do, right? And there's certain things that you must do, okay? And this might be a come to Jesus moment, but number one is that you have to put prospecting into your daily plan. We talked about it as far as time blocking, but you can choose whether the morning is the best. Most people that I know in this business like to reserve the morning hours for morning prospecting. And there's lots of different ways we can talk about all of those, but prospecting, just remember, leads are the lifeblood of the business. And once you put that effort in to get the leads, I forget who mentioned it earlier in our Zoom here today, the lead follow-up. How many times have you gotten a bunch of leads only to go watch them fall through the cracks? So lead follow-up is critical. Then let's talk about the social media. Everybody's talking about it. It's no longer an option. Social media is here and it's here to stay and it's part of our lives. And that's where a lot of people, in fact, I know a number of people now that don't even tune into the TV anymore. They get all their videos, all their news, all their information from the palm of their hands. So social media is where you've got to be, and you've got to be consistent. And finally, Skip started off talking about that. Know your market. You have to understand your market, which is one of the reasons why the new construction that he talked about is so good, because it's very easy to get that information. It's basically spoon-fed to you, and all you have to do is become an expert in a couple of good developments and be known as the new construction person. You can be off to the races faster, probably than any other system out there. So that's the whole idea of the non-negotiables that we have. And let me see if there's anything else that I want to talk about there from the point of view of the non-negotiables. It has
Hey,
to
Eric,
do, yeah.
can I add to that too? Because I think you really nailed it. when you said morning prospecting, there's two variations on that. You can prospect to try and find leads, and that is a
Cold
very
calling.
time consuming and painful process. Or you can prospect to convert leads, which you said, your lead follow up. Vastly different game plan. If you had 100 people in a bucket that all said, "Oh, I would like to buy a house," or I'm interested in new construction," those are fun calls to make. Hey man,
Yeah.
I saw you were interested. In fact, you were at one of my webinars that I did, and you're interested in new construction. What a different call from, "Hello, Mrs. Wojciechowski. This is Patrick, the real estate guy. Have you thought about selling your house now or possibly in the near future?" Oh, goodbye. Vastly different. So focusing on what's to do is key. Sorry.
Hey, and I want to
Great
add to
point.
that. We're not chasing leads. They're finding us, and then we're having conversations about their interest. I think that's really a very valid
That's it.
point, Patrick.
Yeah, it's a very important distinction is that we're not trying to convince anybody to do anything. We're looking to identify the people that raise their hands, which is very similar to what people who show up to a webinar, for example. They're there because they're already interested. And again, to Patrick's point, it's a much easier conversation to talk about a subject that somebody is already interested in. So those are the things you do on a daily basis. Let's talk about now, expand the view a little bit on a weekly basis. Open houses are another great way to stay involved, get the knowledge of where you're at and where, especially where you're holding your open house, meet the people, see the people. The neighbors often are the looky-loos that come over there. You get to meet the neighbors, you get to meet interested prospects. Again, we want to talk to people that want to talk to us. People don't want to be sold, they want to buy. So you got to be the resource that helps them. I've talked a couple of times about the webinar, and I'm a big fan of webinars as well. Skip said right straight in the beginning that he loves webinars. He was able to change markets and adapt in record time. I've been doing a radio show for 26 years. Why? Because I talk one to many, right? I can say the message once and many people hear it. And webinars is a great way. Imagine having a systematic way of attracting people who are interested to come hear you, an expert, talk. That's an amazing thing. And that's why the social media, also the educational videos, this is where networking, to Patrick's point, if you network with a lot of people, you can call in and check in, right? Hey, Patrick, how's it going? Just seeing how things are going in your market. I'm, doing this and that in real estate. So the conversation is teed up again. And when the more people that you network with, the more leads will come your way and the more qualified leads will come your way. So back to you, Skip.
Well, guys, I think we covered everything we wanted to cover, but I have an ending conversation here that's critically important. In real estate, activity is the only thing that breeds results. And it's not just activity, it's the right activity, because you can spend a lot of time doing things that don't produce anything. So it's got to be the right activity. And if you happen to be one of those agents who simply is not struggling, if you're struggling right now, you're having a hard time, you haven't had a sale in a couple of months, you're thinking about leaving the real estate industry, don't, because you don't need to be magical to make this business work. What you need is a schedule, and you need the discipline to stick to it. Pick a niche, something that you like. I happen to love new construction. It's the easiest thing in the world for me because I can find a client from a webinar that we're going to talk about it as we end this conversation today. I can find that client. I can build a relationship with them by educating them on a 30-minute educational call. Then I can suggest to them that we go out and look at a couple of new construction projects. I can take them there, and the salesperson does 100% of the work, and I listen and observe to make sure that I'm getting the right kind of body language from that person. The salesperson writes the contract, does everything. I simply continue to stay in touch with that client during the process. And that to me is a hefty niche market over the next 6 months. Will it be here forever? Nope. But right now, builders are in trouble. So we have to take advantage. So Patrick, if you could put up on screen, for those of you that are with us on the call today, we want to give you an opportunity to attend one of our webinars. No obligation. You can just simply click on the link. Patrick?
Yep, I'm gonna send him someplace easier. Forget the flyer. Just go to 5yearcareer.com and get in touch with us. But if you want me to pull that flyer up, let me dig it up.
No worry, no worry at all. Yeah, and the bottom line is get with us. If anything came out of today's presentation, and there was a lot of meat and potatoes in it, and different personalities on this call. Well, each of us have slightly different personalities in the way that we work. Here's one thing that I know: webinars work. I moved to a new city. I moved to this city 2 years ago. There are 200 agents in my company in this city, and I checked the stats last week. I'm number 14 out of 200 agents in a city that I've actually lived in for less than 2 years. And 99% of the production, my production, has come directly from creating leads from webinars. So if you really want to learn more about our webinar program, simply click on the link. On the 26th of this month, Tuesday night, we'll be doing our next webinar. That's a Tuesday, the 26th of August. I encourage you to join us. And that is our presentation for the day. I want to thank you for joining us. The 5-Year Career Podcast is a passion for all of us. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you like what you heard, you should rate us. You should subscribe, and you should leave us a review, because we really value your comments. And remember, the most important thing about this presentation today is don't just listen. Listening and doing nothing is a waste of time. You can use this information to build your own 5-year career. So with that, thanks everybody for being on the call. Hey, guys, great presentation. Really good information that will help an agent who's struggling get back to making money again. Thanks. Have a great week, everyone.